Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of my video blog series. I am your host Nick Renard and today we are going to be talking about linking ad copy to your website's content. I'm also going to delve a little bit into some best practices for writing ads. Since we're talking about linking ads, I figured I'd go into a little bit of 101 on some good tips and tricks for writing good ads. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so why is this important? It's a good question. The ultimate answer is quality scores. Linking your ad copy to what's on your website will always increase your quality scores. What that means is having the text between your ads and the text on your page being relevant to each other will cause the Google robots, when they crawl your site and they crawl your ads and they decide to give you a quality score between 1 through 10. If those ads and the landing page are similar or relevant to each other, then they'll reward you with higher quality scores. So why are quality scores good? Well, quality scores are half of the algorithm within determining where your ad rank is. So when your quality scores come up, your cost per click is going to go down. When you have a higher cost per click, you don't have to bid as much to show up in a higher ad rank. So paying less per click is always good. So lower CPC, first and foremost, very good to be paying less per click. The second reason here, more advertisement within your set budget, and that's actually related to the lower CPC. You can think about it as if you had a $100 budget a day, so you could spend $100 a day on advertisement. And if your normal cost per click was $2 per click, and then you increase your quality scores by a drastic amount, and all of a sudden your cost per click is $1 per click, instead of only getting 50 clicks a day at $2 a click, you're actually getting 100 clicks a day at $1 a click. So more clicks within your given budget means more advertisement. The third reason here is higher ad rank over competitors. If you're showing up in the ad rank 3 position, and then you increase your quality score, then if you continue to bid the same amount, then Google's going to reward you by, instead of showing up third, you're going to show up second or first. You'll show up higher up over competitors, and that pushes your competitors lower and below the fold, which is always good. And then lastly here, higher impression share. Just as a recap, I have the definition here. Impression share is the percentage of time that your ads show on Google when one of your keywords are triggered. If you have higher quality scores and you're able to fit in more advertisement, then obviously the percentage of time that your ads show up is increasing, meaning that your impression share is higher, so your ads are showing up more. Always good. So increasing your quality scores, I mean, all over the board, it's a very good thing to be doing. So that's why we're talking about it here, and that's why I'm posting a blog about it. So let's move on. All right, so why? The question is, why does it give you higher quality scores? I talked a little bit about the Google robots crawling your site, but that's fairly ambiguous. So I actually pulled this example directly from the Google support page, and the reason I pulled this is because if you Google quality scores, this is the page that shows up first and foremost from Google's support page, and this is the first example that they have in there talking about it, and I'm just going to read through it. It says, let's say you own a website that specializes in socks, and Sam, a customer, is looking for striped socks. Wouldn't it be great if Sam typed striped socks into a Google search and saw your ad about striped socks, clicked it, and then landed on your webpage and bought some spiffy new striped socks? What would happen if, on the other hand, Sam simply saw an ad about socks or clothes, especially if he saw it together with a competitor's ad about striped socks? In the first case, the customer searches and finds exactly what he's looking for. That's what we consider a great user experience, and that's what can earn you a high quality score. What's more, relevant ads tend to earn more clicks, appear in a higher ad position, and bring you the most success. Now, you can see that I put a box around the word relevant. Relevant is the most important word here. Relevance is how they determine ad rank. If your keyword and your ad copy and your landing page are all relevant to each other, then Google is going to reward you with higher quality scores. Also, if everything is relevant to each other, It's more likely, and they say it in this example here about what happens if he just saw an ad about socks or clothes or something a little more generic than something specific like striped socks, which was his original search query. The more relevant those three things are, keyword, ad copy, and landing page, the more likely it is that a customer is going to click on your ad, and that means that your click-through rate is going to be higher. So if your click-through rate is higher, I didn't go over this, but click-through rate is the most dominant variable within Google's algorithm for determining quality scores. So a higher click-through rate means a higher quality score. So that's why I brought up relevance here and wanted to bring the example from Google to show that they, directly use this example, talking about how it, well, they say it brings you the most success, but that's pretty generic. So we're trying to break it down a little more than that here. But let's go ahead and move on. I want to keep talking about the keyword, and then your ad copy, and then your landing page. So you can see that there are three key steps here. The first step is in your keyword selection. So you want to be making sure that the keywords that you're bidding on are relevant to your industry. Now you have to be careful because within every single industry, there are going to be overlapping industries for keywords. So, for example, we had a client of ours who they sell comic books online, and they one of the keywords that they have is back issue comics, which it's a great keyword. That's what they sell. But the phrase back issue kept getting triggered because people were looking. They're doing search queries for things like what kind of medicine should I buy for my back issues, or what should I do about my back pain. So Google, the robots were thinking that back issues was more relevant to like medical or chiropractic terminology than they thought it was relevant to comic books. So you have to be kind of careful with some of the keywords like that, because sometimes you'll get penalized with lower quality scores if Google doesn't deem your terms as relevant. So just be cautious about the keywords that you're using, and make sure that you apply negative keywords appropriately so that you're only showing for the search queries that you want to be showing for. The second step in these the three key steps here is your ad. And like I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, we are going to go a little bit more into ad copy, but you want the ad copy to be relevant to your keyword. So if your keyword were back issue comics, you would want to have some stuff about back issue comics in your ads. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for the Google robots, and not only the Google robots, but also for the speaking from the user experience perspective, it's going to be harder for the customer to link what they typed into Google to clicking on your ad and deeming it as relevant to what they're actually looking for. And then the last thing here is the landing page. Landing page is extremely important, and we're not really going into anything about landing page optimization today, but if you have a crappy landing page, then that is going to have a negative effect on everything that we're talking about here, namely quality scores and ad rank and all that stuff. So but the thing that we can control is when we're writing the ads, because we're talking about the three steps here. When you're writing the ads, the landing URL that you decide to use, because you don't have to link everybody to the home page. You can see I have the home page icon on this page, but you can link people to more granular sections within the website, which is a very good idea, because let's say you sell shoes and you have different styles of shoes. So someone types in deer hide moccasins or something like that. Instead of leading them to a very generic page with all kinds of shoes, if they typed in something very specific like deer hide moccasins, and that's something that you sell, you should be using very granular landing pages and having them land on a page that is actually full of things that are very close to that product, and leave out all the high heels and loafers and things that aren't relevant to what their actual search query was. All right, so let's move on. I want to use an example here, and I'm actually using our company. We're Digital Reach Agency is a search engine marketing and SEO company, and so I have an example keyword of search engine marketing optimization. You can see it's broad match modifier keyword. If we were bidding on Google, this is a keyword that I would be perfectly happy bidding on, because if someone had a search query that had both SEM and optimization in it, it's probably a keyword it's probably a search query that we want to be showing up for. So I have an example ad here. The headline is Digital Reach Agency, that's us. And then the next two lines are, need a better SEM/SEO company? Try DRA and call us today. Kind of rhymes. It's cute. And then you can see the display URL down there, www.digitalreachagency.com. So when we're talking about linking these two things, you can we don't actually have the word optimization in the ad, but we do have the word SEM in the ad. So having the keyword being in your actual ad is actually a very effective way of not only increasing your click-through rate, but also making it so that the Google robots, when they crawl your keywords, your ads, and your landing page, that they see, okay, these two terms are related to each other, and they're going to reward you with higher quality scores for that. So you can kind of see that link there. And then moving on to the landing page, you can see on our landing page that we have all these links to different sections of our site. And all of these links, all of the words here, are words that we want to be using in our ad text. So you can see that search engine optimization, those words show up in both of our keyword and our ad. Or on-site SEO cleanup, the SEO shows up in our ad. Local SEO is in our ad. Pay-per-click management, pay-per-click is pretty much the same thing as SEM, so they're related. And then SEM employee training, SEM's in both our keyword and our ad. Conversion rate optimization, optimization's in our keyword. But you see how many links we have there. That's the definition. This is a perfect example of what you want when you're linking your keyword to your ad to your landing page. There should be a very a nice flow with the related relevant terminology flowing through that cycle there. So starting with the keyword, leading into the ad, and leading into the home page. All right, let's move on here. So here's where I'm going to delve into writing good and relevant ads. And I know this is a bit of a tangent because we aren't talking about the original blog isn't about writing ads, but I want to talk about it a little bit because I think it's important. I see a lot of ads out there that when I see them, I just kind of cringe because they're just kind of lame. And lame's a good word for it. Okay, so first and foremost, you want a call to action. Every single person who has a website has, assuming they're running a business, has something that they want the users to be doing when they land on the website. And that's what your call to action is. That's what it's for. So what I mean by that is if you're a company that's interested in phone calls or quote form submissions or free consultation submissions or contact us form submissions, or maybe you're an e-commerce store like the shoe example, there's all kinds of things that you want the customer to be doing once they land on the website. So what a call to action does is it puts subliminally into the consumer's head what you want them to be doing on your website before they even actually land on the website. And I'll give you a couple. I have some examples here. Download now, register for beta, free 30-day trial. You see all those ones up there. That's what I'm talking about. So that's what you want your customer to be doing. So when you're writing your ad text, if you want phone calls, then make sure your ad has something about, like call today or call us now or call for a free consultation, something along those lines that's telling them, hey, we want you to call us. The second point here, ask a question. This is something that I really like doing in my ads, and it's something that I like to A/B split test a lot to see if writing a question is good. But a lot of the times, asking a question that appeals to the consumer's emotion. I like to appeal to fear a lot. If you're an insurance company, then you can appeal to their fear by asking a question like actually you saw in our original ad, it said, do you need a better SEM/SEO company? What it's saying is that, it's asking you, is the company that you're currently working with crappy? Like, if that's the case, then you should definitely go with us. And if someone who reads that ad, if they are Googling SEM optimization, they're looking for another company, or maybe they're just, browsing around, a question like that is really going to grab their attention because in their head, they're going to be like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So absolutely, they're going to click on your ad. So asking a question is a very good technique to try and bring the people that you're looking for to your site. All right, and thirdly here, use terminology that is relevant to your keywords and your landing page. We already talked about that quite a bit. I have a subscript line here. It says pull lines of text from your website. You want to make sure that the keywords and the words themselves actually overlap. So if in the example that I had about digital reach agency, if you have search engine marketing as your keyword, then make sure that search engine marketing is also somewhere in your ad and somewhere on the landing page that you direct them to. So that way when Google reads the site and when those users go through that process from keyword to ad to landing page, that they that there's a flow to it, that it makes sense, it's relevant. Yeah, we already talked about it a bit, so I don't want to talk about it too much. Let's move on here. Try using the word free. This is something that there's a lot of ways you could put the word free in your ad without sounding gimmicky. Free consultations, buy one get one free, free shipping, call toll free. There's so many ways. Free trial. There's so many ways to put the word free into your ad. And the truth, I've been A/B split testing ads for a very long time, and every single, I won't say every single time because nothing's 100% in this industry, but the very high majority of the time when I split test using the word free in my ads, it almost always increases the click-through rate. And like we talked about before, click-through rate is the most dominant variable within Google's algorithm for determining your quality score. So by bringing your click-through rate up and using terminology like free, you can be increasing your quality scores at the same time, which is good. Increasing your quality scores is good. All right, and the next thing here is keyword insertion. If this isn't something that you've heard of before, it's definitely something that you should look up if you haven't heard of it before. Keyword insertion is something that we do. This is what it looks like. You saw in the, I'm going to go back a couple slides here. Oh, too far. You see that the original headline in this ad was Digital Reach Agency. And then if we move forward, you can see I have keyword digital reach agency. This is what keyword insertion looks like. So instead of our ad saying digital reach agency, we could have it say this here, keyword digital reach agency. And what that does is it makes it so that when someone triggers one of your keywords within that ad group, then instead of the headline saying digital reach agency, it's actually going to replace that with whatever keyword they triggered, which is, it's a really cool technique because if you type something into Google like SEM optimization and the headline of the ad that pops up is exactly what you typed into Google, the chances of you clicking on that ad are going to be much higher because that's exactly what you typed into Google. It's as if they knew what you wanted, and it's like, here it is. There are ways that it can backfire. If your keywords, you have to make sure that your keywords make sense. If your keyword doesn't make sense when you insert it into the headline of an ad, and you put keyword insertion into the headline of your ad, and then it shows up all kind of weird, yeah, if your keywords are off, then it can backfire a little bit. But what you want to make sure is that if it decides to replace the keyword insertion with one of your keywords, then make sure that it makes grammatical sense, so that way when it shows up in the ad, that it actually reads correctly. But keyword insertion is a lot like the word free. It's a great way to increase your click-through rate. Click-through rate increases quality scores, and quality scores make the whole entire world better. So yes, the keyword insertion is very good. The last thing here, make extraordinary statements. You're trying to sell yourself. When you're writing an ad, you don't want to be modest. You also don't want to be way too extreme, but you should definitely be making statements about how, you're the highest quality. You're whatever it is that makes your company, what makes you, whether you emphasize low prices or high quality or whatever it is, really emphasize those things. So use colorful language, make yourself sound like the best, make extraordinary statements about why you're better than your competitors and how you outperform them, and yeah, really sell yourself. All right, moving on here, some basic tips. The first one here, I'm just going to be wrapping it up here shortly. For the first one here, break up ad groups with diverse keywords. One of the reasons that we do this is if you have a bunch of keywords all jammed into the same ad group, The problem is that you're going to be breaking up the original flow, and I'm going to go back slides here again. Here, if you have a bunch of keywords that aren't really relevant to each other in this process right here, then it's going to be hard to rate an ad and have a landing URL that's relevant to all of your keywords if your keywords are, a bunched up mess of, different terminology. So what you want to be doing is organizing your keywords a little bit better, break up the ad groups so that you can write more custom tailored ads and have more custom tailored landing URLs. So like in the moccasin example, if you're a shoe company and you sell both Converse sneakers and moccasins, you don't want to have both of those keywords in the same ad. You want to have two separate ad groups for those. You want to have, entirely separate keywords for both of those. You want to have separate ads written entirely, and you also want to have different landing URLs. So they're going to be entirely different from each other. So if you notice that you're bunching up a bunch of keywords in one ad group, break those up, write different ads that are more custom tailored to those, and make sure that they're leading to landing URLs that are relevant to both the keyword and the ad that you wrote. All right. Oh, sorry, something got caught in my throat there. Second thing here, write ads custom tailored to the group's keywords in each ad. We already talked about this a couple times already, so I don't want to harp on it too much. But, when you break up the ad group, like we talked about above, make sure you write ads that are specific to the new ad groups that you created. And then the last one here, use granular landing URLs for your keywords and ads so that users land on the most relevant page possible. Again, relevance is that keyword. If your keyword is relevant to your ad and your ad is relevant to your landing URL and your landing URL is relevant to your keyword, it's kind of like the circle of life. As long as all those three things link together, that's what you're looking for. That's what you want. So anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching, and I'll hope to see you guys on my next video blog.